Magic fans, I'm Beef and welcome back to another historic Brawl gameplay video, and today we are playing one of the most frustratingly designed commanders I've seen in a while, and that is Vaan, Street Thief. So for those who don't know, Vaan is the main character in Final Fantasy 12, and he is a thief, which makes him obviously that very flavourful, but he's poorly designed and I'll go into it in a second. So he's a 3-mana at 2/2, and he has whenever one or more scouts, pirates and or rogues you control deal combat damage to a player, exile the top card of that player's library, you may cast it if you don't create a treasure token, and then whenever you cast a spell you don't own, pay +1/+1 counter on each scout, pirate and rogue you control. So that in theory is very powerful, but it's missing one small bit of text that we usually see in these effects, and that is mana of any colour can be used to cast that spell. And that's the problem, because a 3-mana 2/2 is awful stats. He doesn't have menace or haste, and I really think he should have at least one of those. And the reality is, in a mono red commander, and there's a lot of complaints in Magic that standard cards are made for commander. Obviously, Final Fantasy is in standard, but it's not really made for standard. But I think Vaan is clearly made for commander because of that scouts, pirates and rogues. Like, the amount of scouts on arena in mono red is not many. Not scouts, just scout. There's only 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I think 7 scouts, and of which 1 and 2 are in standard, 4 are in standard at the moment. So there's not many scouts. So it's clearly designed for commander. And in 4-player commander, he's probably better. But in 1-on-1, he's not. And those creature types are known for being very small and go widey. And obviously his ability by buffing them helps with that. But in a 1-on-1 brawl where you don't necessarily, you don't have the option of who to attack, they can get outpaced very quickly, and if you can't get that buff, then you've just got a board of like 1/1s and 1/2s and 2/2s up against your opponent's commanders and their board. That's why, because if you look at the nut draw of turn 1, 1-drop, turn 2, 2-drop, turn 3, Vaan, you get in with at least one of your creatures, you're not going to have any mana at all to cast the thing. So you're going to create a treasure, that's great. So next turn, you have to hope you hit something that your one treasure can cast, and if they're playing red, maybe they can. But, often you just hit something that you can't cast at all. So that's why this does have a bit of a treasure sub-theme, because it's more of a treasure commander than a scout, pirate or rogue commander. So very quickly, I'm not going for every card, but we have split the sections up. We have pirates, which is most of them, and a lot of them are goblins as well. Then we have rogues and just 2 other scouts apart from Vaan. And what the problem was also with this kind of deck is, and we saw it when I played, there's a Unicorn Pegasus horse commander, Furin. It's the same thing of when there's more than one creature type, it's very hard to get things like Patchwork Banner going or Cavern of Souls or other things that rely on creature types, because you actually have more than one. So we mostly pirates, then rogues, then a couple of scouts. Kellen's an interesting one. It starts as a scout. You can level it up with 2, turns into detective, which we don't care about. Then level it up to 3 when it turns back into a rogue, which we do care about, and it has a 3/2 double strike. So that's a pretty good one. And a lot of these creatures do create treasures. Ragavan is actually a pirate, so we have a good reason for Ragavan being in here, apart from it's a mono red deck. But things like Wider Goblin create a treasure. Breaches can create a treasure when we attack with a pirate. Plundering Pirate creates a treasure when it enters. There's another card that creates a treasure if we Swashbuckler Extraordinaire creates a treasure. Mine Raider if we control another outlaw, of which rogues and pirates are. Scouts aren't outlaws, we create a treasure. And things, we do have some non-scout pirates and rogues. Goldhound is a treasure and a 1-mana menace. Professional Facebreaker creates treasures when 1 or more creatures hit our opponent. Tory Mauler is a changeling, so it's everything. Zorn doubles up our treasures. Goldspan, great card, creates a treasure. And Plaga Nasari, beginning of our upkeep, each player exiles cards from the top of their library until they exile a non-land card. An opponent chooses a non-land card exiled this way. We may cast up to 2 spells from among the other cards. So it's going to be 1. We'll exile a card, our opponent exiles a card. They pick one of those cards, we can cast the other one for free. So if they pick our card, we can cast their card, which will trigger Vaan. Next up, we have very small amount of removal for a mono red deck. Cindercone Smite can create a treasure if we weren't the starting player. Lightning Bolt, Abrade, and Shatter Skull Smashing. And then we do have Spiteful Banditry, which I've put in the ramp because whenever a creature and opponent dies, we do create a treasure. Because we don't want to be casting it for its Wrath mode that often because we are a go wide deck with small ones. But next, ramp is Chrome Mox because we need mana to cast things. Chrome Mox, great train heist because we can get an extra combat, we can get +1 on first strike, but also we can create a lot of treasure with that last mode. Choose target opponent. Whenever a creature you control deals combat damage to that player this turn, create a tapped treasure token, and it's only an extra red for that. Sticky Fingers lets us enchant a creature, it gains menace, and when it kills the combat damage to a player, we create a treasure, and when it dies, we draw a card. Strike It Rich, create a treasure. Arcane Signet, Ruby Medallion. Heraldic Banner, buffs our creatures, and we choose red. Patchwork Banner, I ummed and ahed over, because as I said earlier, it's hard to turn on, but it does produce 1 mana of any colour, which is great when we want to cast things around opponent's deck. Same with Red Legends, obviously. Vaan, if we can get him with Vaan, great, but if we can't, we can tap it for extra mana. Big score to create treasure. Cold Vault of a Noble Feast, an interesting one. First 2 chapters, create a treasure. Last one, exile top 3 cards from our target opponent's library. We may play those cards this turn, so then we can get up to 3 +1/+1 counters for Vaan. Fire Crystal reduces all our red spells by 1, and creatures we control have haste. Unexpected Windfall, same as Big Score. Discard, draw 2, create 2 treasures. And basically everything else, Untiny Function, mostly using it for 1 or 2 target creatures can't block this turn. You find some prisoners, we exile the top 3 cards of our opponent's library, we choose one, extend the next turn, we can play that card, and mana of any colour can be spent to cast it. Swiftfoot Boots, Curse of Hospitality, enchant player, creature attacking enchanted player have trample. Whenever a creature does combat damage to an enchanted player, that player exiles the top card of their library until end of turn. The creature's controller, so as, may play that card and may spend mana as though any colour. Sudden Eruption to destroy a land, but also creatures without flying can't block this turn. Valakut Awakening lets us refill our hand a bit, and then Chandra's just a good planeswalker as well. Mana base, we do have snow-covered mountains because we do have a Faceless Haven which we can turn on. It'll become more creature types. Arena of Glory can give something haste. Castle Ember can buff our board. Sokenzen. And then we do have 2 of the raceways from Ether Drift. One which lets us give haste and max speed, and one which lets us tap for 2 colours and max speed. And then Badham Garden, because it's going to be in every ball deck, and Nixthos. So that's the deck. As I said, it's not great. I think if you just put in, mana of any colour can be spent to cast this spell, or even while you control Vaan, you can cast this spell, because Robber of the Rich has, when this creature attacks, if defending player has more cards in hand, when you exile top card of a library, during any turn you attack with a rogue, you may cast that card. If we had any turn you attacked with a scout, pirate, or rogue, you can cast a card, or if you control Vaan, you can cast a card that way. You can get it and go, oh, okay, well, I can get a treasure next turn, or I can cast it next turn, because this also restricts you growing your ball, because you don't generally want to cast stuff unless you've got a fair few treasure before combat. You want to get into combat, attack, see what we hit, and then cast stuff. Because a lot of things have haste, we want to cast stuff and attack for combat. So it's a bit of a lose-lose, or a catch-22. So it's just not. It's just so close to being good, I think, but it's not, and it's so frustrating. On those games where you don't go first and you don't draw a 1/1 or a 1-drop or a 2-drop, you might as well concede, because you're not going to get through your opponent's board, and Brawl can have some very big and very wide balls very quickly. So it's a real shame. But when it works, it's fun and it's good. I don't think I've seen anyone else play it, so just want to show you guys how it works and to avoid it, really. If you enjoy it, please remember to leave a like and subscribe. And I'll give a shout out to my patrons. They are Arcadius, Mihal, Thomas, and Adrian. Thank you very much for your support. Everyone else, thank you very much for your support. Please leave a comment down in the description. Please have a look at my non-MTG videos if that is something you're interested in. There are 2 up, and there should be a 3rd up by the time you see this video, or that might be going up over the weekend. But in the meantime, I'll see you all in the next video. Well, we literally just played against Sauron, so I don't know if it's the same guy. Let's see if we can draw more than 2 lands. Oh good, Ragavan. Well, I'm going to hold both of them back. And see what they do. Well, the problem is, now they've got a pretty big board. Well, I say big board, it's bigger than ours. If we draw a land, we will get down the Goldspan Dragon. Oh no, we can do it without drawing a land. Start creating treasure. No, we're fine. I think next turn we get down probably the Mauler. I ditch a Nazgul. Well, that has haste. So let's get down Vaan. There's a solid chance we can cast something. Why didn't I attack with a gold hand? I don't know. Doesn't really matter, just doing it to buff our board a bit. Yeah, let's get down the relic. And let's get down our Strongbox Raider. We will pick a Charming Scoundrel. I think they can cast Sauron. Oh, that's annoying. I imagine they are getting down Sauron. Oh no, the Nazgul. going to get down the Mauler and our Loot Monger. That's still their Glorious Gale. We'll create a treasure. And you can go, you can go, you can go, and you can go. We grab a Spiteful Banditry from them. They do have Death Touch. But we most likely don't cast whatever we hit if we can cast it. We've only got 2 mana for Glorious Gale, because that can counter their commander. Which is probably why they've, looks like they've noped out. Yeah. Oh no, there they are doing stuff. Yeah, makes sense. So does that. So Robber Rich we can play any time we attack with a rogue, and we obviously have rogues. Well, we can't cast it anyway. They knew we had it. And yeah, that's lethal. They knew we had it, but I suppose there's anything they could have done. Well, we have more than 2 lands. What's our opponent up to? Come on. And down to 23. I'll get Vaan down next turn. Do they have a blocker? Oh, it's SRAM. We can't cast that, unfortunately. But we can light up the stage. Giving them treasures, never great. What have they got? Oh, let us get this down on red, obviously. I can double block the plunderer. But then the lackey gets in. They don't have a good block on the lackey. Apparently they are humming and hawing over it. Oh. Goodbye, plunderer. Choose one. Let's get Kellen out now. I can get down Cloud. They do. Are you going to attack? Come on, you kind of have to. Probably though, they have protection from red now, so... Yeah, I'm starting to realise Vaan's not very good. Like, at all. Well, let's get in. We can probably cast something, even though only if it's got red mana in it. Which it does. Gets trampled, doesn't it? Yes. They're down to 4. We do get another trigger. We can't cast Aerith. Aerith, sorry. Let's discard the Awakening. Well, they can't really attack. Realise I probably should have kept Valakut Awakening. We could have got some new cards. But they have 6 mana. What can they do with it? Just going to buff the Wazoo out of Cloud. If they have Sheltered by Ghosts. I am going to be ticked off. Oh, just another Cloud. Shadow Spear. What do they get? Shadow Spear. Do they attack with it or not? That is the question. Because they'll gain a lot of life. And they managed to create some treasures as well. They can cast it. Do they though? Yeah, they do. Three, four, five, six. Well, let's equip it to Vaan. Yeah, we can give it double strike. So yeah, we got there, but that was tough. Mulligan. Come on, opponent. We haven't got all day. I don't know what it is about this deck of just not giving us actual low mana cost cards. Oh, we'll get in for two. And now we don't have lands for Vaan. Oh, there is land. Swords. Oh, it's a land. Fair enough. Well, let's see what we hit from their library. We'll create the treasure. Let's get down Kamal. They're just going to get down Kenrith next turn. Kamal can get through. Or not. Come on. Fair enough. We do get 2 triggers, one from Kamal. We don't have any instant sorcerers in our hand, or in our graveyard, but we do get to buff our board. Let's give Vaan Vaan hexproof. What they can still cast Kenrith. Well, there is Fiddle Flip. Well, they have a few blockers now. I have a lot of blockers now. Right, let's get down the Pyromancer. And the land. They can double block Vaan. And get their summoner back. That goes into a library. We'll go to treasure. Yeah, we get pinged a bit. Let's give ourselves hexproof. They're at 9. Kenrith is a 5/5, which is very annoying. They can cast Kenrith and then Actor. Well, you can probably give it haste. And they can play things from the top of a library. I was just trying to work out what do they go for. The boots. Alright. Let's get down Vaan. And then Relic Robber. Whew, we got there in the end. We go first. Well, we can kill Sephiroth when it comes down. But we don't actually have any of our correct creatures. Because Goldhound is not a scout, pirate, or a rogue. We'll probably get down the Facebreaker, I think. Start creating some treasures. That's if that Goldhound doesn't get mushed. Now just going digging for a land. Any land, not as a basic land, so see what they get. That's a good one for that kind of deck. We could have actually given it haste there. Do they get down Sephiroth? They do not. We could take that out, but we're going to. We're going to get down Vaan. And go attacking. Yes, but unfortunately none of those trigger Vaan. I might take out the Patchwork Banner. No. We're not allowed lands. Menace, yeah. Trying to think, do we sack it? Oh no, there's no point sacking it for a braid. Well, let us play this as a land then. Let us get down our relic. And we'll get down a Kellen. Well, that's kind of annoying. Does it say how many times it's triggered yet? I think it's only once, isn't it? We will not block. My turn. Oh. On the Vaan's human, yeah, let's put it on. Doesn't really matter. Do they triple block? Level up. Level up again. Take out Sephiroth. We get a couple more triggers. Just a swamp. Let's patchwork banner. On the... We have Rogue, Scout, Warrior. Let's put it on Rogue. We've got one going spare. I'm going to put this on Kellen. Yep. Not a bad turn. Ooh, that is very annoying. Let's take out the banner. But Grey Pack's probably it for us. Well, we have to try and find something. Treasure. We may just have enough. Yeah, I think we do. We will sack. Kellen. Yeah, we do. More than enough. Oh, I love Grey Pack in my own decks, but it's a nightmare to play against.